Hey, what's up, y'all? This is the OG Bronc Nuts. I know I make a lot of fun, funny, lighthearted, try to make you laugh comedy type videos, but this is a serious video. And I really want you to watch this to the end and at least comment down below and tell me what you think about this video. I want to talk about these blue light laser beams that people reported seeing last night in New York. Now, for those of you that don't know about this, there was a huge electrical fire that got started, and it was a power lines that got blown up, or power lines that supposedly malfunctioned. It was blamed on one of the local electric companies, and some footage got caught of this, and it got released by Channel 4 News in New York. So you're going to see the original uncut footage with your own two eyes, and you tell me what you see in this video. Now, before you watch it, keep in mind that all of the fires that got started in California, people were reporting seeing green and blue laser beams coming down from the sky, and that's what was causing and starting the fires, which there were some really weird anomalies with that fire. According to lots of different fire chiefs, the fire line, the way it burned, they said that's not how a wildfire burns. There were pictures of big, huge trees with the bark still on the outside of the tree, and the entire tree on the middle, on the inside, was red like molten lava. But the bark was still on the tree, and the tree was still intact. All the homes and neighborhoods completely mowed down to the ground where there was nothing left, just ashes. But all the trees in the neighborhood still standing. How does something like this happen? Well, it's thought to, it's rumored, it's, I guess you could say conspiracy theory to have happened by a power malfunction by PG&E. Now, none of this makes any sense to anybody who's got half a brain and a little bit of common sense and is willing to see the facts from themselves, not just turn on the mainstream media, which you can't believe, and that means no channel. I don't care if you're a Republican, you can't believe Fox News. If you're a Democrat, you can't watch CNN. You have to turn it off. And you have to do your own research. Actually, turning the TV on is actually doing you worse. So, there are documents that have been signed by the president that there was going to be some widespread electrical power outages. And there's a lot of talk about sealed indictments. People are going to be going to Guantanamo Bay. This whole Q character, if you don't know about him, there's a lot of research can be done on him through the internet. Some people think it's the president. Some people think it's a high-ranking military official. Some people think it's John F. Kennedy Jr. who this Q is, for a lot of different reasons. And if you go do all the research on why it may be JFK Jr., there's a lot of anomalies. There's a lot of weird things that are connected to it. There's a lot of weird things that are connected to everything. But what I want to know is, what are these blue laser beams coming from the sky? What are they doing to us? Because I'm not going to say that this is a UFO, and I think that's what they're going to blame it on, that we're being attacked by aliens. But I think people around the world need to wake up to this, because I think this laser that can be shot from the heavens down to a pinpoint accuracy target on the ground is the futuristic weapons of tomorrow that we don't even know about. And I think the very first time this laser was used was when they set that chemical plant on fire in, I think it was Tianjin, China. And it happened to be that they set that off a couple of days after China lowered their dollar and then shaped their stock market 30% and threatened to reveal to the world how much gold they have. And then all of a sudden we have this fire, and it was a weapons plant that blew a hole that was 5-mile radius into the ground and ridiculous deep. This couldn't have been done with just chemicals. Just like the Twin Towers couldn't have fallen at free fall speed, at the speed of gravity, in a nice neat little pile, and be the only or the first two buildings in the history of mankind to fall to the ground because of fire. There's a lot going on in this world that is sick, dark, satanic, and twisted. And it's time, if you're not awake, to be awakened. I became awakened in 2006. I'm on year, 12 of my journey of awakened. And there's nothing when people say, well, what do you know? It's nothing that I can sum up in 2 hours, 2 days, 2 weeks, or even 2 years. I've put in the work, I've put in the time to see what these elite, corrupt people are doing to us. So it's time for the people all over the world, no matter what your race, your religion, your creed, your sexual orientation is, to quit fighting against each other, because that's exactly what they want: division, divide and conquer. To rally with your brother, no matter what their race, religion, creed, or sexual orientation is. And try to figure out what we can do to do our part to stop these globalist elitists from taking over the world and turning us all into slaves and puppets and controlled, manipulative workers for them. This is serious business. Big things are happening, especially in the United States of America right now. As of right now, I believe Donald Trump is a patriot, a white hat, a guy about to expose all of this to try to stand up to these globalist bullies. A man who didn't need to do this but did it anyway. Until he shows me otherwise, I'm going to back him. And I'm not telling you what to do or what your political view should be. I've said many times on my channel before that I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican. I'm anti-corruption, anti-government, about freedom, about the next man right next to you being no better or no worse than you. He's just a man, breathing the same air and putting on his pants the same way you do, one leg at a time. Something evil is happening in this world. And I think that there's some good forces fighting it. And I think the good forces are winning, but they need help. They need our help. They need your help. They need you to do your job as a person on this earth, to do as much study to understand the complexity of what's going on in the world with powerful governments, powerful people, deep state operatives, corrupt CIA and FBI offices. It's time to take a step back from what you're doing in your life that's distracting you and start studying on what's important and what is real, because this determines the future of mankind. Anyway, that's enough from me today. This is the OG Bronknuts. I want you to watch the video. I'm going to link to it down in the description. Please do yourself a favor. Click on this video. I'm actually going to link 2 videos. One of the video that was released from Channel 4 in New York, and another one from a YouTuber named Richie from Boston. Richie from Boston has a channel. He's a truth seeker. Doesn't have a fancy intro or a bunch of fancy music and does no fancy editing. He's a dude with a computer and a cell phone, just like me, who's willing to put in the time to try to understand what's happening so you can be prepared for when it inevitably does. Watch his video. Be convinced yourself that if something like this can happen, and you can relate this blue beam that lots of people who've said they've seen, whether it was in the wildfires in California or this blue beam coming down from the sky in New York last night, and there's going to be plenty more. Ask yourself what it is, because there's no sane person who can explain that as a lightning storm. There is an obvious blue laser beam coming down from the heavens. Is this the weapon that the United States military refers to as the rod of God? This is the OG Bronknuts, 719 West. Wake up, people. Wake up. Do yourself a favor and wake up. And then, once you're awake, wake somebody else up. I'm out. See you tomorrow, suckers.